Hey, que Pasa Calexico. Welcome back to the podcast. Before we begin, I want to thank my sponsors.
Look at that. Look at that.
My friends Jake, Sergio, and Jonathan for sponsoring on Anchor. I also want to thank David Gastelum if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, thinking of buying an investment property in the Imperial or San Diego counties, then you must contact David Gastelum at 760-235-9576. He's not only a realtor, but also an investor with over 20 years of experience. He will not only sell your property, but teach you along the way on one of your most important investments that you will make. You can also find David on Facebook. If not, give him a call, 760-235-9576. And today we are in Brawley.
Brawley, that's right, man. Now that I'm elected, I say if you want to interview me, you got to come to my hood. You got to come to my... No, I'm kidding. No, man.
We are with third-time guest.
Third time, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You were my first guest, and then you came back. Every time you come back, it's in a different...
oh, yeah. And it's been a very short span, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the first guest was, what, last year?
Yeah, the first one was back in... It was like, I think it's been a year.
Yeah, and in that year, then I came back as a candidate. Now I'm coming back as an elected official and a new role, career-wise. So it's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy few months, but it's been exciting. I'm happy to share about it.
Yeah, and before we begin, I was listening to KeggerCast.
Okay.
And I kind of felt like you threw a little jab at me. You're like, yeah, I've contacted people that,
I was. No, yeah, I was. I was talking to everyone. Like, that was you and everyone else because, I enjoy conversation. Like, I enjoy this. Like I was just telling you, I miss it. Like, I literally miss, sitting down and just back and forth. And so any opportunity I can get, because I think I have a lot to share. I think I loved any opportunity to inform the people of what's going on, or just someone who makes a decision. Like, I also want to encourage other elected officials to come on this show or other shows to not be scared. I think a lot of elected officials, for some reason, I don't know, maybe the way the environment is in regards to PC or just being ready, just.
But I think in a way you kind of have something to do with it, because when you had your show, you're a little bit more, kind of
oh, there's issues we're gonna talk about. Yeah, I'm gonna bring them up.
Yeah. I think that you kind of scare the people.
Oh yeah, no, there's elephants in the room. We got to address them, right? But at the end of the day, the one thing about when I had having it in my house was, it was cool. It helped check me, right? Because there's sometimes I know I was kind of pushing at people, but when I kind of always had to realize, I'm in my house, they're a guest. I should, treat them with respect. I think if I did it somewhere else, it's just for me, I could have been more, grilling. But since it was in my house, I always, that subconscious was treat them right. Treat them.
In a way, they were a guest in your house.
Yeah, they were exactly that.
Yeah.
But I was upset, because I wanted, especially I won. I was I'm ready to come on, and I hit a lot. No joke. Here I'm repeating myself, but I literally sent messages to a lot of people in the valley, you need guests, you need guests, you need guests, you need a guest, and
no, to me, the reason most of the times, when I book a guest is that same week, because I always have something going on. Poor Jose Citales is inviting me to his open mics, and I always have something to do.
I feel you. No, I understand.
And at the same time, when I felt I'm gonna ask Gil, I would see you were out of town or stuff like that, because you've been traveling a lot for.
Yeah, I've been. A lot of elected officials told me it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, but I'm putting in the work. And there's a difference. I think many elected officials locally confuse time with work. They spend a lot of time talking and listening. I like that. But it's also putting the work, the late nights, the seeing how other, there's issues in my either the school district or whether in my profession, and how are other communities, organizations tackling these issues, and figuring out how to, create similar solutions locally. And so I'm always... it's not just time and listening to people. I get so many. I've got a crazy amount of calls of, hey, this issue, and it's hard. I listen, I hear them, and I always have time, as a board member, I'm not here to put out fires. Like, I'm here to establish policy and guide the school in the right direction. I hear you. I hear this problem. I will look into it, but I encourage you to, speak. There's a chain of command, you speak with your principal, if not then the superintendent, and then come to the board. Like, I'm not discouraging anyone, but, out of respect for those that are in the school, your problem should be addressed with them. If it doesn't get solved, or you're not satisfied, then you can go up, and finally to the board where, okay, policy might have to be changed. But I don't mind people calling me. I like to hear, I listen them out, and that takes a lot of time. I'm sure all these city officials, IID, county, but the work in regards, like I'm having a resolution, I'll have a resolution on the agenda next Tuesday. To address chronic absenteeism. It's a resolution, whereas, with data backing it up to bring together city and high school officials. So Brawley has children aren't showing up to school, are chronically absent. We're in the red in the California dashboard. And even though I might not be too familiar with the semantic specifics, the fact that we're in the red, that means there's an issue, there's a problem, and we need to address it. Like, it's plain and simple. You can tell me, well, this metric, blah. No, we're in the red. We shouldn't be in the red. There's a problem. Let's address it. And I think the schools can do so much in regards, because it's not a majority of the chronically absent students, they're not, junior high or sixth grade. They're not kids that are just ditching to be cool. No, it's a K through first. Okay. And so that's a parent, right? The kindergartens aren't ditching school. They just either don't want to, and the parent just says maybe not, or maybe cultural issues. But I think when it comes to the parental aspect of it, that means it's bigger than what a school district can do. So we need to pull together our city. We need to pull together our high school, and maybe even more. But right now I'm proposing to form a committee of the elementary school district, the high school district, and our city, and kind of just play it out there. How can we all come together to address this? Because any issue that affects if it's a parental issue that's affecting our children, then that's essentially a city problem as well, right? And so our cities need to be aware of issues at our school, and plain and simple.
That was one of my questions. Do you, now that you're an elected official, do you feel that, like a school board and a city council, is there a big need for them to?
It's a symbiotic relationship that I don't think many are aware of, even within schools and cities. Because chances are, if kids are failing our school, or if our kids are failing in the school system, they're not going to go out. They're not going to leave the valley. And the ones that do succeed are more than likely to leave, right? The brain drain, we call it. I think our cities and our schools really need to build relationships together. Not only that, I think today, and I carry this in the professional, my career as well, is that I think before agencies, organizations could operate independently, like there's tons of resources, or they could just operate, whereas now everyone's competing. Everyone wants this resource, everyone wants this funding, everyone wants to do it on their own, and you can't do that. You're not going to succeed like that. You have to collaborate. There's strength in numbers, especially when we have big issues that we might have to get help from the state, get help from bigger organizations. If we can just pull together and come together, so when we seek help or seek additional assistance, we can say, well, we're also partnered with this agency. We also have this backing. And so, more than ever, I think collaboration is needed. And so like I said, I'm touring the schools, and I invited the mayor of Brawley, Donnie Wharton, and he came, and this Brawley City Council is one city council I took so many jabs at, like straight up. I just jacked them up on my show, and I'm aware of that, and I tell them that. But it's time to put my money where my mouth is now. Like I said, it's whatever I've said in the past about them, whatever I feel about them, we both live in the same city. We both want the best. I truly believe, if you run for office, whether you're not putting the work or not, you do want the best for your community. So let's come together.
Do you feel that your thoughts on elected officials, on the bureaucracy of the process of getting things done, has have your thoughts on that, changed? Do you feel that?
It's slow. No, it's a slow process. I think it feels it's the same as I felt in the past. But I understand why it's slow, right? Because you're dealing with public funds, you're dealing with people, you're dealing with the public. So you have to have that slow process just to ensure that things are, checked and balanced, right? Because I can make a decision and get it done, but it can have a negative impact. I mean, regardless, you can go through the process and still have a negative impact, but at least going through that slow process allows it to, well, has this been addressed? Has this not? Has this, and so I get the process. It is slow. And perhaps it was meant to be that way, to ensure that, all bases are covered. But I think if you put in the work, you can get it done. I think no matter how slow the process is, if you're willing to put in the work, you're willing to, collaborate, you're willing to just do the grind and hustle, you can get it done. I don't think there's nothing out of reach. If you want to make a change, you can make the change. You don't have to be in a city council. You don't have to, but, in the public sector, if you want to make the change, it's just going to take work. It's literally going to take time. It's going to take sacrifice. But it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
Do you feel that when you decided to run and when you were running, do you feel that people, because you're so young, people weren't taking you serious?
You know what I thought, but then I looked at the results and no, I'm kidding. No, I think so. I really think so. Yeah, but I think dude. Like I said, I didn't buy any ads. I didn't buy any social media ads. No print ads. I went out and met with people, and I think they knew I was young, and I've been open. The last board meeting, I made my board report, and I said, what my weakness coming into this board was that I have a steep learning curve in regards to ed code and pedagogy. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. The semantics and specifics of education. That's my weakness. Unfortunately, that's my weakness. But what I do bring is a network and of a lot of elected officials that I've helped, a lot of elected officials I've just gotten to know. And I think it's time for me to, and I said, cash out. I think if we have issues and we can get their help, I will reach out to them. I will not hesitate. I've helped them, and it's time to help me and help me in my regards to the school district I represent. Not personally, not professionally, just hey, I represent this school. Just I helped you in your campaign. I helped you in regards to this. Now it's time to just hear us out. And so I think people did think I was young, but they also saw the enthusiasm, energy. I put in the work, bro. No joke.
No, yeah. And when you came out on the show for when you were running, people. I was talking to Norma Galindo. I was like, man, this guy's focused. He's taking it. It's funny because we said that you came in with different positions every time you come to the show, but that one time that when you came and you were running, I was like, man, it's a totally different deal.
No, it's I've matured straight up, and that's listen, when I started small, dude, I trip out. 4 years ago I was a volunteer in the county. 4 years ago in 2015. In 2014 I just graduated my bachelor's. I started volunteering at the end of the year, and then in 2015 I was still volunteering, and then I got hired. But I was a volunteer. I didn't have small town news. I didn't know what I was waiting on tables. I had no idea what our supervisor. No one knew who the hell I was. I didn't know anyone. It was 4 years ago. I was filing. I was spending 4 hours of my day in a filing room, just walking. No joke. And for me to come from a volunteer filer to, fast forward 4 years, I'm an elected official. I beat 3 highly respected people. I had my show, I networked, I built this network of people that I'm very fortunate to know. Has been crazy. And I think being young helped me, the energy, I think. But in those 4 years, I was bound to mature or grow up, right? From being a 25-year-old volunteer to now a 29-year-old elected official. there's gonna be change. Like, and there has to be, just regardless. And I'm someone who does like to. I don't want to be the same person I was, a year ago. I want to grow. I want to learn, and check myself. That's probably the hardest thing. Is not being complacent. It's easy to. After the election, it was kind of easy for me to be like, oh, I won. I'm taught cloud nine, and but then I could realize like I haven't done anything. Like I need to do something and prove myself. And I have to create a chip on my shoulder to motivate myself. I don't know why, but I have to find different ways to motivate myself, and sometimes it's not good. Like it's not, like, oh, they're doing that, I can do better. Like it's crazy, but it's that drive. Like I have to keep that drive. Even like, so now I even dress like, I know Norma said monkey suit, right? Dude, that's like straight up. I wear suits. I dress very nice. Like not even though this is my casual getup, but for work I wear suits, overcoat, scarves. Like I dress very nice, but it's not because it's like, oh, that's my uniform. Yeah. Like when I wake up in the morning, I iron, I press, I starch, I make sure I put my button up my shirt, I put my coat on, I make an overcoat. Hey, I love the cold weather, I get to layer up. But that's my uniform. Like that's my way of saying like, hey, I'm here to work from time I'm gonna clock in to when I get time to clock out. Me, I feel professional. I look professional. Like I have to grind. Like that is no joke. You see these athletes walking in with their, I feel like that. I'm walking into work and I feel like LeBron James, when they see him like, oh, LeBron has just entered the stadium. Like just focus. Like this is me. And, I think you look good, you feel good, and you're going to work. I take pride in how I present myself. I probably didn't do that a few years ago. Like no job. I was just, hey, I'm a crazy kid. I'm going to just cause some chaos and have fun. But, as I've grown, I say, I have an opportunity to make an impact, and I can't lose that. And so I have to keep on my game. Like it's easy to lose power. I think it's not lose power, but lose influence on, and I don't want that. As long as I can make an influence in a positive way, and I can. I think, and I hate to I think Mandy's is a good example. I love Mandy's. He's a cool guy, but 4 years ago he was kind of like me in a way, right? He was a young guy who was gonna clean up, sweep it, right? And now it was just decided it wasn't for him, and nothing wrong with that, but it can change like that, right? And I don't want that. Like I know people believe I can make a difference, and I have to. Like I just there's no if, and, or buts. I have to make a change. And the other day, my fiance and I were out, and a couple came up and started talking to me. And my fiance, they were just real talking about an issue in the school. I heard them. I was loud, and my fiance was like, "Oh, you're a deep conversation, right?" She's kind of, like, oh, I wasn't paying attention to her, right? She's cool. But I said, no, they had a real issue, and I explained to her, like, if you had an issue with our daughter in their school, and there's someone from our district or someone who could help resolve it, you'd be deep in conversation too. Like you would approach them and say, "Oh, you're right," and then it kind of got back to, like they really believe I can make a difference. Like they wouldn't take that time to sit there and just lay it all out there if they really didn't believe that I could help them in some way. And it's a big responsibility. Like no joke, it's a burden. Sometimes I feel like, but it's a way to motivate myself. Another way to just, the late nights, the reading, the drafting. Like I get that agenda and I go through it. Like like I'm not gonna be those elected officials. Like the first time I see agendas at that meeting, our first item. No, I'm gonna be well versed. Most of the time I go through agenda, I see it, and okay. If there's something though, hey, I'll make that call. I'll research it and do the work. But
do you feel that like most elected officials do the same, or is it?
From the appearance, I think it just comes from complaint. I think there's not a pressure from the people. I think if people put more pressure on our elected officials, they would do the work, but I don't think the people do enough. I don't feel pressure other than the people who come up and talk to me, but I put that pressure on myself. Like I said that creating that chip, creating that motivation, there might not be any pressure on me, but I feel it.
Yeah.
In my mind, there is. Like in my mind, I got 4 years at least to make an impact.
Do you know if you were the youngest?
I'm sure I was, or am, but that's cool. I mean, I don't feel young. I don't feel the youngest. But I think what helped me though a lot is the interviews, because not just from talking to people on air, but then the afterwards, like when put the mic down. Yeah. What's really going on, right?
Yeah. A lot of times, like when I do an interview, like I'll say, sometimes before and even after, like you'll have a deeper conversation and a lot of times it's because some things you can't really share, but you want to share with the person, right? And my wife's like, didn't you wasn't it like an hour and you were there like for 2 hours? I'm like, yeah, but like we were talking afterwards, and like you said, that's probably the time where you get to like really feel or understand,
and it is kind of a game, like how you approach an issue. It's not just here's the issue, here's the answer, but no, it's kind of maneuvering. Okay, here's an issue, I got to present it here. I maybe got to convince this party. I got to get the support of this person. I kind of have to frame it in this. If I frame it in one way, I'm going to get shot down. But if I frame it another way using these words or this language, it's going to facilitate that process. So it is maneuvering, and it's from the interviews I've done with, like I said, the people that help me, being on the outside looking in. I loved watching meetings, like the Calexico City Council meeting, the Brawley. Actually, I think the only city council meeting I haven't watched is Imperials, because they're boring. They're pretty. No. But
enough drama.
Yeah, but you see that. You see, they brought it up like they could have got that passed, but they brought it up like this, or they didn't get the support of this. And so, just being a student of local politics for the past couple years helped me see it not see it as a game, but just being able to be more well-versed, and probably more well-versed than someone my age and someone my experience should be. I think you see a lot of first-time elected officials come in, they think they can, and I think that too, but I understand that there's a process. I understand that it's there's maneuvering, that it's that, I got to play my cards right. Yeah. I can't just
so that kind of helped you get your feet wet in sense of the kind of like the politics.
And like I said, and from the interviews I built, like I said, people that have been somewhat mentors. I don't think I've ever called them that. I don't think they'll consider themselves that to me, but from conversations and texting, and that they've indirectly mentored me, right? Yeah. Just seeing what they're doing or seeing what they're not doing, or
like kind of like there's like probably every show or every person I meet and we talk about the show, and I kind of mention you kind of like indirectly like help me out with well, get this thing on the
dude. This part, like I said, I said you may have taken the shot because I want you to keep this. Like I want you to, this has a potential to be the source of information. People want to be informed. Like this, people just want to be. People are tired of the gossip. People are tired of the he said, she said, and they just want straight from the story. Whether it's that person is lying or full of it or telling the truth, at least they can say, well, I heard it from, they want to know where they heard it from. They want to know, so.
Yeah, and every time, like, I've had conversations with people that, they might not agree, with what they're saying, but I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, it's for you to listen, for you to digest it and say, like, I'm going to believe him or not. And if you, like you said, like, if you see that person, ask them in the street, hey, I heard you on the podcast and you said this and that, is it true or not? Yeah. And, like, Mandy's, I think that's one of his biggest qualities is that, and people might... I might get crap for this, but he's really, straight out. He'll if you see him on the street and you ask him, like, he'll like.
Yeah, no, I love Mandy's. He's, like I said, he does tell it straight out. Sometimes though, you got to tell it straight out without telling it straight out, right? You got, like I said, going back to how you frame things, how you.
Yeah.
It's but no, he's someone who, I hope he gets back into it. Like I think, like I said, I know he's young, so he still has it. But I think he gave a lot of people hope. And I know he left it off better. Calexico's better today, and he played a part of that. There's no one denying that. And I hope he comes back on to help continue that. Like I said, you got David Dale, who's, hey, Dave, hey, thank you, Jose. No, I love David. I'm going back to, I think he's the right guy for Calexico. But, hey, David, hey. I feel like he should have a painting show. No, David is
Bob Ross.
Right, yeah, David Dale. Hello. Oh, yes. Here's a mural. But like that, David's willing to come on and talk, and that's what we need, man. Because like our public officials, whether elected or appointed, are paid by us. Yeah. You pay it, I pay it. We all pay it, and so we need to hear from them. Like we need to help hold them accountable. And so I encourage this.
But do you feel? Because sometimes I feel like not enough people like listen to.
The people who matter listen to it, bro. Like that's at the end of the day. I mean, I would get a couple hundred. Towards the end, I think I was getting like 1,000. But even the beginning, I was getting like 20, 30. Yeah. But then I'd go like to the county, or I'd go around wherever I'd be at. Like, oh hey, I listened to it. And it'd be like, oh, you're like a pretty influential person. And so it's like I kind of realized like the people who are maybe movers or care or who are invested into the community are listening, and that has more of an impact than that's just a start. And so they're gonna talk to so and so, and that's how you build, right? So at first I was like, man, where am I going?
There's times when I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do this no more because I'm not getting enough feedback. But then, like, all of us, like, from out of nowhere, you'll get some random persons, like, saying, like, hey, I listened to your podcast, and I really like it, like what you're doing. Like, shout out to Eddie Lopez. He created my logo. He's like, hey, dude, I've been listening. I created this logo for you, blah, blah, blah. Eddie Lopez Design on Instagram, if you want to follow him. And it kind of, like, gives you hope that there's people listening.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you, man. The people that matter, but the people that care, listen, that want to know, listen. That's the start. That's how you get them, and then they're gonna tell someone, and then it takes the time.
Yeah, and it, like to me, like it's slowly like getting more hits.
Oh yeah, and there's a market for it. Like there's a void. I feel like. There's potential for growth. Like, there's no doubt about it.
So, like, I guess you kind of became like a social media,
influence. It's weird, right? Like a influencer, gadfly. I've been told, satirist, interviewer. I don't know. It's just I just put myself out there. I always just saw myself as a comedian, right? Like, I'm just someone who, I said, kind of going back to growing and changing. Like I'm a risk taker. Like I'm willing to put myself out there to just have a different experience, and it's it worked. Apparently, I don't know. I mean, I always just did it just to have fun, and it's been good.
Do you think that that's something that you can use as a school board member? And
oh, definitely. I mean, like I said, I've created a website. I'm doing the monthly updates, and some people might think like, oh, you're taking it very seriously. Well, I'm responsible. I'm 20% responsible for a multi-million-dollar budget and the future of our children in Brawley. Yeah. If you don't think I should take this seriously, then what's wrong with you? Yeah. Right? Like, so it helps me. 'Cause what other, local official has a website? What other local official is doing a monthly vlog? What other local official is pretty? Here's a gripe I have, and I was going to put this on, so I want to say, I wish local officials, elected officials, were just as active on social media after their campaign than during.
Yeah.
and it's tough for me to say because there's people who campaign that I supported, who are very active on social media, and now they've disappeared. And that's wrong. That's false advertisement. And that's just disrespectful. And I'd rather have them just not active at all during social media, and still continue to be, because hey, we know who we voted for. Like, you weren't active and still not active. Yeah. But when you're active, this and that, and then you win or lose, you disappear, and you can't say, because I'm so busy. Like, no, it doesn't take any time to let us know what you're up to.
Yeah, and then it's a good way to, there's people that can go to meetings or don't want to go to meetings. That's a good way for for them to like kind of show what.
Yeah, at least they know what you're doing. Yeah. Like, hey, they were here, or this is who they are. Maybe it's their sense of humor, or this is, you get to know them. Like, just you're a public official. Your life is public, plain and simple. Yeah. I'm willing to make my life public. It was public before. Yeah. As a comedian, it's we go up there and we let it all out, and I don't mind doing that. My sense of humor has changed though, social media. I'm not gonna lie. I shouldn't share that. I shouldn't maybe comment that. But other than that, and that's just my sense of humor can sometimes get misconstrued via text, right? It's just haha. I can put LOL, and some might say, "Why are you laughing at that?" or "Why are you laughing at all?" or "I get it." So
yeah, you can't really show sarcasm.
Context, right? But if I talk to you, I'm gonna be me. Like, I don't. Hey, what's up, mate? I don't. I'm still me. But I'm an open book on via social media. That's just to keep them engaged, just to let them know I'm here, and remind them, like, if you do need to contact me, there's various means and methods. You don't have to go on a complicated city website or public website of www.yes.ca.ci city. No, it's Gil Rebollar or his Instagram or his Facebook, and there you go. Like, there's no, I limit as many barriers as possible to reach me, and I'm always out and about. Like, I'm always out and about, and you caught me in a good time today. Like I said, I'm actually very tired, but earlier this morning we had a cleanup at our junior high, and it was great. Took my daughter, we rode our bikes, and we scrubbed from 8 to 12. We just scrubbed our halls and watered them down, and made sure that help the kids and students and the staff take pride. I think.
Yeah, it's a good way to. I think having pride in something makes helps you keep things nice. Like when you have a bike and you like it,
or your or your suit or your uniform, or how you dress. But and one thing about like the school, like I'm gonna make an impact and I'm gonna make a change. I don't know what it is. I'm going to. But change is never easy. Like, change, tell me one thing that's changed and tell me how it's been easy. No, you can't. No matter what. No matter how good the cause, no matter how good the outcome, no matter how good the intention, change is always difficult. It's chaotic. It's you're breaking. Sometimes it involves breaking, right? And, but if I can show them that I'm putting in the work, that I'm taking pride, that it helps them, like, okay, well, I don't agree with him, but the dude works, the dude, you can't just say, oh, he doesn't know, or he didn't do the work, he's just lazy, like, he did this, he's proposing this, but.
Yeah, you're not somebody that just shows up and talks and not, you don't your money with it.
Yeah, and so it helps. I know, and it comes to that point where I'm going to maybe propose something that, not controversial, but it's going to get maybe blowback, or is going to, it's not going to be clearly good and bad, black, white. It's going to be, that at least they can say, those that support me, yeah, and those that don't, well, I don't, but I can see where he's coming from. He's explaining, he's in the work, it's a process, and good luck. But, and one thing I listened to an interview with, so everyone listens to Joe Rogan and his interviews. I think, honestly, the best interviews right now are Charlamagne the God on Breakfast Club. I rather listen to his interviews than Joe Rogan's anytime. And his guests was just, there needs to be like a Latino, Hispanic Charlemagne. If you notice Charlemagne, it's a lot of black people. It's but influential.
Yeah.
And that's to him to promote, him to help. We Latinos, Hispanics, we need Charlemagne or Dio. I don't know, you know, but anyways. But he had Kamala Harris on, and she said breaking barriers isn't just getting from one side to the next. Like, it's not just you're on one side, you're on this side. It involves breaking. It involves hurt. It involves pain. You're gonna break something. You're breaking up. You're breaking. It's not a nice thing, but it's going to be worth it. It helps you, overcome, it helps you build strength, build character, build integrity, helps you respect it and appreciate that process and that grind and everything you went through to get to that other side. And so, not that I'm breaking any barriers, but,
just look at, the civil rights,
something as simple as that, that people should be treated not on their color. Look how crazy that was and how hard that change was on something, right? So, yeah, let's go back.
So I saw on your Facebook that something that not a lot of people, like elected officials, do. Like, you're sharing this, I guess, like a promo, like you're hiring teachers.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I don't see other elected officials, even people I know that have Facebook, they're not promoting, jobs that they're.
Yeah. No. Brawley, so a lot of our teachers are retiring. Just it's that time. There is incentive to retire, and they took it. There's a raise. Our superintendent's retiring. We have a principal. We have a dean of students, director of admin, an administrative director. We have over a dozen teachers, and then classified staff, several openings, and I think that's something. Some might think, oh my goodness, all these, but I see it as exciting time. That means like we're going to have a change, not a change, but we bring in the right people. It'll help make a positive impact. Not that they were not, but the fact is that we can bring in people to fill these voids and see some positive impact. That's exciting. I mean, that's an exciting, like, no joke. I've met with teachers. I've met with principals from around the valley. I've met from principal from Calexico, so teachers in El Centro, just to get their thoughts. The promotion of that, because I want people to come. Like, I want people who want to work to come to Brawley. Like, oh, hey, that school board member is active. He's very supportive. He wants, he's encouraging.
Yeah, and that was like what I was leading to was that how do you because there's like a shortage of teachers like, around the nation, and then we have all these strikes, and how do you compete with other districts? Like, what you as an elected official, what do you ask your administration to do, like, in order to bring in?
So we are going to Texas along that border to bring in teachers who have taught with similar demographics along a border region. We're much different than, say, teachers in Denver, right? Our demographics, and not that they couldn't, but we do want someone who's familiar with living along a border.
Yeah.
But our salaries are very competitive when you compare that to the cost of living. I went to San Francisco recently, and I talked to someone, an old friend, and they said when they first moved to San Francisco, they were paying $1,000 to share a room with two other people. So $1,000 for a bed in a room. I paid $900 for a 2-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood in the valley. Like, our cost of living is very low.
Yeah.
And so when you have a good competitive salary, that entices them, but also challenges. And when I talk to teachers that I've talked to, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not going to say Brawley's perfect. Like, we do have challenges, but as someone who's in the field of education, in the public sector, as just a human being, challenge is what makes us. Why wouldn't you want to be challenged? Like, that gives you purpose.
Yeah.
So I know from when I've talk to people. Like I said, I promote it because I got people message me, and I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna tell you, you know, don't think I'm offering you a job. I'm just letting you know if you apply, this is what I expect. Obviously, my board or the superintendent buys people who work who want to be challenged. We have, you know, the cost of living when you compare it to our salary is great. There's professional development opportunities, and I'm all for if a teacher wants to come or an administrator and just, you know, do 2 or 3 years, but, you know, make a name for themselves and then leave, that's fine. Like, I'd rather get 2 or 3 years of someone who works hard than, you know, 10 years of someone who's just gonna coast.
Yeah. Like,
that's just, I'd rather get that. And so that doesn't scare me. That doesn't I know some people might, oh no, we want them lifetime. Like, no, I just want quality over quantity. I want, don't hide it from me. If you just say, I'm just here to further my career, okay, that's fine, but you're going to put in the work, and I'm going to help you further your career, whatever support you need.
Yeah.
Like today with the principal at Barbara Worth, you got my support. You want to keep doing these things? If we got to crunch numbers, I'll convince the rest of the board to have our administration crunch some numbers so you can get more supplies, so you can get what you need, because these things are what we need. Even like, so I've been touring the schools. What I've seen is, what I've been liking to see is some of these teachers where technology and education meet. And I've seen that with, the use of tablets. Whereas before, teachers had the projectors and they sat there and they, you know, 2+2 class and the class goes. Whereas some teachers now are utilizing the tablet and they're writing and it projects it, but they're able to walk around. They can see who's being engaged. They can see I know the answer. If you're the teacher's in the front writing the project, they might not see the kid in the back who's not going to ask a question, but just doodling, right? Yeah. And so with this use of the tablet, we'll be able to walk around and, oh, okay, you're not working. Oh, okay. Or being able to just project, being able just to get the students that sense that, oh, hey, they're wondering. Even I went to one classroom yesterday, and the teacher gave the lesson and said, all right, bring out your Chromebooks. They brought out the Chromebooks. They took a quiz and had who was getting it right. And it's like a little competition, which is cool. And then she took them all, okay, you can take your break. And then you see, okay, this majority of students got this right. The majority of students got this question the most wrong. They took the longest on this question. And I'm like, that's utilizing it's not technology for higher education. No, it's that sweet spot of technology and education coming together and utilizing it. And I said, if I encourage more teachers in my district to use it, and I said at the last meeting, if there's budgetary, any barriers, you let us know. It's our job as a board to figure out, to direct ways to get around it. Yeah. And that was really encouraging to see. It was exciting to see that kind of that sweet, like I said, that sweet spot. And that's just that's just doing the work, putting the time to tour our school. Like my superintendent was like, "Oh, what do you want to learn? What do you want to see at these tours?" So I was like, "I just want to see the school. Like I just want to walk around. Like you don't even. I don't want any context. Like just show me and I'll figure it out. You don't tell me the vision. Don't tell me your mission. I'll walk around and I'll tell you what I see, because that's what a mission and vision is, right? Mission is something that you live by it. If your mission here at say at a restaurant is to provide hot food, we strive to provide hot food. Every food better be hot, and I shouldn't have to read that to know. I should get the food and be like, oh, this is hot. Well, yeah, that's the mission, right? It says it. You live by it. And so I don't want no mission. I don't want a vision. I'll tell you what I see. And then we can, and so,
and like to me, like being somebody that is in the technology field, especially technology and education, I think that you brought a good point where the sweet spot, because you don't have to go. I hope I don't get in shit for this, but like in my district, I feel that they want to go above and beyond, and be because they like to go to the high tech and all these schools, but to me it's like we can't really be there because our demographic is different, right?
Yeah.
but like I think we should invest more time in what you said, like find that sweet spot.
Use it to teach the core, and then once they know the core, the literacy, those key reading. I mean, above all, reading's the root of all everything. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for reading. Like I went to this, that, but reading, and so utilizing technology to teach the core, the basic, and then from there move on to maybe not fun, cool, but the extra stuff, right? Because that's what this teacher did. She taught I forgot what lesson it was, and I think it was a math lesson, but utilizing it to teach, not relying it, not on a crutch, not to, it's boom, boom, boom. But yeah, you can fall in love with it, right? You can easily fall in love.
Yeah.
I've seen that. So Twitter is crazy with teachers. Twitter is like the it's like the communication hub for teachers. That is crazy.
Oh, really?
Like, no joke. Teachers, that's where they all interact, bro. Like, I barely got active on Twitter, and I put something like, this is a really cool thing. I just put something like, to see all these teachers interact. It got like 300 likes, like 100 shares from teachers all around the nation. They'll ask a question. They have the PLNs and then professional learning networks, and they all just share, and it's been pretty cool seeing that different world. I think one thing that I think every public sector could benefit from, something like, if all, like, I'm the air pollution, right? If all the air pollution control district employees had that network where, hey, this issue, and then someone from, Tennessee, like, oh, well, we're doing this, and you have all that communication. I think we all benefit, but also that checking. You don't want to fall in love with anything too much.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, a lot of opportunity, a lot of excitement. Like I said, the promotion of it, because I do want to like, I'm excited about my time on the board, and I hope I can convey that to anyone who applies, anyone gets hired, that excitement, that enthusiasm to, like, hey, we're having we're having so many new changes that shouldn't be seen as a negative. That is change. That is just the way of life, and we have to take advantage of that opportunity. We're not going to get all these vacancies.
And since I feel that even that, like, the politics of, how your school board, presents themselves, and, how they treat administration, or how they treat employees, or how they greet them, or how they do all these things, has to do with, teachers making a decision if they want to work in this district or not. So I think that, that's good that you're doing that,
And yeah, and it's easy, I think, for me to treat my teachers and administrators with respect, because they were there when I was a student. Like, no joke. I mean, I just celebrated my 10-year reunion, but there's principals there that were my principals. There are teachers there that I just toured the district 2 weeks ago, and one of the teacher coaches was my teacher when I was in 8th grade, her first year teaching. Like, it's in the same way I respected them back then, I respect them even more so now. And at first I thought that might be kind of weird, right? They might think like, oh, but going back to putting in the work. Yeah. I think the work I put in speaks for itself, and that's something they can't deny. They can say anything they want about me, but they cannot say that I don't work to just figure out what I need to know.
Yeah. I know it's early, but do you feel like you're gonna get reelected, like, or run for reelection?
I haven't even thought of that, like, straight up. No, I don't even.
You don't think you're gonna follow your daughter through high school?
Someone thought, you know what? I was telling someone, I personally, for me, I felt I did very well in elementary. I was a great student, but I fell off in high school. Like, I almost didn't graduate. I went from 4.0 in freshman year to having to take a summer class, after school class, the second semester my senior year, and not even getting honor roll. I got like 1.7. Me, the smartest guy in the valley, bro. No, no, I was intelligent. You know, even with college, I got a bachelor's. I got a graduate on. Not that those are old, but I graduated distinction, and even in my master's in public administration, while working 2 jobs, working for full time for the county, waiting on tables on the weekends, with the daughter, with the small towns. I was able to get, I think, I got 1B, but that's because the teacher refused to give A's. So I graduated on distinction as well. And I was able to do that. Yeah, I'm someone who didn't almost graduate high school. So I really fell off. And I think this sounds crazy because I think I could run for any position locally and win. Like, not that I think I could run for any position and put up a very good challenge, no matter what, whether IID, county, city, whatever. You throw me in there.
Now that, you know.
Yeah, I'm putting the work. I think you just throw me in. I'm gonna put in the work just based on the work and my engagement with the community. That can be a challenge for anyone. But my end goal is not IID. It's high school. Like I think I'm gonna, like, my last elected position is gonna be a high school board member because I just felt I fell off. And there's many people like me. I can guarantee you my parents, my mom said, I'll pay for any college is not a question. You can, whatever college you want to go to, accept it, we'll pay. And I still said no. Why would I want to take that opportunity? Like, I didn't take advantage of it. I don't regret it, but I fell off. And, I always want to end up back in high school on that board. And I don't know. Not that they're not doing, not that it was their fault, but I know, that I can play a difference in those, you know, focus on those students who fall through the cracks. And so I don't know if I'll win election, run for re-election or whatnot, but I know I'll eventually end up on the high school board. I don't know when. Probably won't be next time, but I'm going to end up on the high school board, and that's the only thing I can guarantee.
Yeah, like you feel that you need to do.
Yeah, and like I said, 4 years, who knows? I can run for re-election. There's other. I said on my speech when I got sworn in. The next day after I won, I got calls like, "Hey, IID, county, city council, like, you won your election, like you won handedly, the way you ran it, who you are, like, start planning ahead for this." And I was like, dude, I haven't done anything, man. Like, you know,
I want you to be the next AOC,
right? Like, no, I want to. You know what? AOC used to bartend. She's got my respect, bro. Anyone who who's worked in a restaurant can do anything. Like,
I was a cook, line cook.
Dude, if you want to run a good business or organization, you look at that resume. You don't see what school they graduated from. You see where they work. Now, if they've worked in a restaurant, they can do it. Like, yeah, no, people, and it's, like I said, it goes back to that responsibility. Yeah, people really might want me to be that. People really might want me to be, someone. And so I have to take, I have to take that burden seriously. Like, I have to put in the work then, because I don't want to disappoint anyone. Like, not that I live for them or work for them, but, I don't. I gotta set the bar. I set the bar high for a lot of elected officials. Like, I talked a lot of crap, like, about it. And so I gotta, you know, live up to what I said. I don't want, the last thing I want to do is become these elected officials I've made fun of and talked about for all this time, right? Become what I don't want to be, right? Live long enough to see yourself become the villain, right? But no, I mean, 4 years, who knows? I mean, in 4 years, going back to change and evolving, I have more influence doing a podcast. I have more influence, you know, just doing what I want to do or in my terms. 4 years, I might say, hey, man, our school still isn't what I want it to be. Let's do it again. 4 years, I might say, I think I've accomplished everything I might accomplish. What's next? And, you know, who knows? I really don't know. I don't, 4 years, a lot can change. Yeah. There might be a volunteer right now who in 4 years is just going to make people forget about me. Yeah. Like, plain and simple. There's a guy right now filing, or woman filing for 4 hours straight, wondering, what do I do? What am I, you know, but is hungry, who is driven, and will come out of nowhere and just change the game. and then I'll be yesterday's news, and but hey, who cares, that's just the nature of the game. And I feel like I've gotten blowback from people I think who have been similar. I've gotten a lot of support from this valley, from all over, but I always feel like there's these individuals here in this valley who at one point were me, who were the young guy or woman, a young person who was one energy, who was gonna give hope, or who was just like you just saw them on a path, and for some reason or another it didn't work out, or they just chose something, and they did it. And I feel like those individuals are the ones that have really not hindered me, but have really been the ones that are very negative, and the ones that aren't supportive, and the ones that, I don't know if it's bitterness, jealousy, whatnot, but I can tell you that there's individuals in this valley who I just get the feeling that they didn't live up to the expectations others put on them, and they put on themselves, and they see that in me, and they're doing just being a nuisance, like just being I hate using the word hater, but just being not as supportive as other people have. You don't have to agree with me to support me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna I work, I care.
Yeah, and even like with the podcast, I feel like a lot of people don't accept it. Like sometimes I feel like there's people out there that don't want people to get informed, or they don't want them to know.
Yeah, they want to be the one to inform. Like they want to feel important. They want to stay relevant. And people don't want to lose that, right? They don't want to lose that influence. They don't want to lose that relevancy.
Yeah,
times are changing. It's a whole new game. And one thing, I was supposed to speak at this candidate orientation recently, and it got canceled. But my thing was going to talk about finding voters. Like, how do you find voters? And I'm just like, everywhere is a vote. I am someone who you don't just focus on your region or your district for voters. You focus everywhere in this valley. Everyone is a voter, whether they're in your district or area or not. They might know someone. Yeah. They might say on social media. You treat everyone as a voter, and that's why I can go to Calexico and I'll see you. Like right now, you came here, you're recognizing Brawley. Not that you're looking for voters, but we're all one. We're all the same, and so that's helped me a lot in that. I try to be informed everywhere. I'm not going to focus only on Brawley issues. And now kind of with the district, but I still want to have that presence in Calexico. I want to have that presence in El Centro, Holeville, Imperial, just because we're all one. We all need to collaborate. The valley is when one city suffers, we all suffer. And so, when I didn't get to speak, but I wanted to share that with people, is that everyone's a voter in this valley. You go out there and you shake everyone's hand, no matter they don't live near you. You never see them. You'll never see them again. You treat them as if they're your neighbor. Yeah. And
especially now with social media, like you'll meet somebody like, oh, that's Gil Rebollar. So like, who's that? And they'll look you up on Instagram, Facebook, and they'll follow you, and then they become a voter in the sense that they might share it with somebody else that's from Brawley.
Yeah, and it's not just to get votes; it's just to be a damn good person.
Yeah.
We're all the valley, like I thought we talked about air pollution. A lot of the folks in the Calexico, Mexicali area, but we get it here in Brawley too. If there's bad air in Calexico, there's bad air in Brawley. Like there's no no wall, no divide. There's no division between Mexico and Calexico in regards to air, in the same way there's no division between Calexico and Brawley in regards to air. And so, we're all the border, from Calexico to to Nyland, Salton Sea. We're all the border. This is a whole border. La Frontera, we're all, this is a whole border region. And so, it's more important than ever to the valley to come together.
So, we've already been here an hour talking about...
Really? I don't think we even talked about... I think we just talked... I don't even think there's a part 2, right? I think this is just...
Yeah, this is part 1.
Okay. All right.
We're going to... I'm not going to cut it, but I'm going to, I was talking to Gil, and we're going to make a 2-parter.
Okay.
Because, we talked for an hour about, your city council, your school board,
kinda. I think we talked. Yeah,
your school board experience, and the things that you're doing and all that. Okay, guys. So this is the end of part 1. I wanted to keep them separate because first part I wanted to have a talk with Gil about his experiences in the school board. And in the second part, we're going to talk about his experiences in his new job with air pollution. So yeah, I wanted to keep it two different topics, two different episodes. So this is the end of part one. So stay tuned for part two, where we're going to talk about air pollution. Guys, thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.